everybody, it's Andrew Gaffney with Retail TouchPoints. I'm here at the end of our big show, and I'm joined by Gary Sankary from Esri. Gary, thanks for making time.
Hey, thank you.
Appreciate you joining us. So we've heard a lot of buzz around location-based, and really from location-based marketing, and hot topics of analytics, where you sit sort of right in the middle of this. Talk to us a little bit about what kind of questions you're getting from retailers. What are their top priorities when they're trying to gather location intelligence?
Sure. So the number one priority, and this has been, this is the issue that we have today with omni-channel and unified commerce, is how am I going to connect with my customers? How am I going to understand who they are, where they are, and how do I be ready for them when they walk into my store?
Right.
So, and that's something from a location standpoint. I've been saying, every single retail transaction happens in a specific location for a reason. We want to help you understand what that reason is so that you can repeat it and do it over again, yeah.
And the way your solution's working in most cases, you obviously have a ton of intelligence and data you're bringing to it. Is it typically married up with data that the retailer brings, or how are they arriving at the right answer?
Absolutely. So our customers, when they come to our solution, we bring a ton of data with them, but every one of our customers has their own data. And I, personally, so I'm a retailer at heart, I'm not a technologist, but what I find exciting about GIS is it's really and this is our secret sauce, the ability to take a lot of disparate data and unite it around a single spot, right, or a number of them, and that becomes kind of an unstructured join. And now I can interrogate all those different kinds of disparate data and find insights that just aren't available any other way.
Makes a lot of sense. So obviously site selection, I'm sure, is huge. What other areas of retail decision making are they best applying this?
So it's really anything that requires you to know anything about the customer. So site selection for sure, market planning, market research. I'm looking for groups of people that I want to be able to reach. It's personalization and segmentation. Those are something that we get a lot of questions about. It's also indoor mapping. One thing that I think is a big deal, and we've talked about it a lot of the show, is machine learning. And while the customers are still learning how to ask about machine learning, but what we are able to talk about is how, I'm now able to throw so much data at a question. And from a geographic standpoint, geography, we've been in the big data business from day one. Right? I mean, that's just what geography is. But now I'm able to use machine learning to really find relationships that, it removes my personal bias. It also removes any limits on how much data I can consider. But the output, I can find really nuances that just aren't, again, I don't think would be available or would take you forever to be able to find them if you're doing it manually or just trying to run different analyses.
Right. When you look at location-based, one of the things, location-based marketing, the game changer is the mobile device, and I think retailers are still trying to catch up with that. Can you talk about sort of what opportunities you're seeing there, challenges, interests around mobile?
Yeah, so IoT is just creating a tsunami of data, and it's all temporal, so it's over time, and it has a lot of geospatial data points in it. Personally, I think if you want to be able to consume those data sets and understand them, you have to do it in a map. I mean, I use this term visual data mining. I want to be able to look at a data set and understand what's going on. If I'm looking at IoT data in a table, that's not going to happen. But if I'm looking at it in a map, and I'm seeing the relationships of points on a map to each other and to places, I can all of a sudden ground it and understand it much better.
Absolutely. So when you look out at the retail landscape now, we talked about location, site location.
Yep.
As there's blurring of the lines between physical stores, digital stores, does that change sort of the opportunity for you? Or you see more e-commerce brands that are trying to get smarter about?
They are. Whether you're in e-commerce, whether you're brick and mortar, and if you're both, you're still trying to deliver a value proposition to a customer.
Right.
And for you to be able to do that, again, it goes back to understanding who that customer is. But I think you raise a good point, because one of the things I'm thinking a lot about these days is, in the past, we've always looked at individual stores.
Right.
And we do forecasts at the individual store level. We actually, I still look at comp store sales as a measure of success. But today, because so many customers are engaging on devices other than in the store, I need to think about it differently. And I'm starting to think about holistic market forecasting as a proposition. So how can I connect my customers? We just published something on the halo effect of a store, right? So how does, if I have a store that's open, how does that affect the digital commerce around that store? And there is a huge impact.
Yeah.
If I'm only forecasting that store and that store is or is not doing good, I'm not looking at the whole picture. So I really think we have to start thinking about total markets. We have to start looking at a lot more data sets so that we're now evaluating and creating those forecasts at a higher level. And I think when we do that, then we have the ability, really, this is where machine learning is really going to come in. This is what this opens up for us.
Right.
And I think, I'm a little biased as a retailer, but I think that, this is really going to finally realize unified commerce. This is going to give us what we've been talking about for a long time, just haven't been able to get to.
That's great. We really appreciate you making time with some great insights.
Oh, thank you so much.
Awesome, Gary. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, everybody.